We're here today to pay tribute to an American fighting man, Daniel Richards, who was killed on my last combat mission in Vietnam in 1972 in my aircraft.
You remember that day?
Very much so.
Tell me about it. What happened?
Well, we were flying a spy plane. I was the pilot and he was the tactical observer, and we were on a mission that was classified. And we were operated out of black uniforms, and the president and Army always says they don't know us if something happens and all this kind of stuff. And you kind of take that with a grain of salt until it actually happens. We took off that night and everything was fine until we took a hit in the number 2 engine from a missile strike about 300 feet in altitude above the airfield as we were leaving. And we were unable to return to the airfield and had to eject. I survived with multiple injuries and 2.5 years in Army hospitals, and Daniel was killed on the scene. His parachute did not deploy. Mine opened at 35 feet above the ground. I hit the ground approximately 140 miles an hour, which you're not supposed to survive, but I did. I also landed in a minefield and got filled with shrapnel from about 60 different pieces of shrapnel from landmines, in addition to the burns, the broken bones, the broken back and neck, and other injuries.
You received the Purple Heart for your service.
Correct.
That wasn't easy to come by.
Took 36 years to get my Purple Heart, and I said at that time our next mission was to get the Purple Heart for Daniel because he was in the plane with me. Why wouldn't he have one?
Why was it so hard to get the Purple Heart?
One, the information was classified, and two, it was the very tail end of the war, the last day of the ground war, and units went home. Nothing was followed up. Paperwork was let go. My paperwork was put in a metal container shot full of machine gun bullet holes and dropped in the ocean to keep the enemy from getting it. And a lot of what we did disappeared. So I've had to reconstruct it through witnesses that were there and through medical records from the hospitals where I was treated to prove that I was ever in Vietnam. And I would never consider finishing this last mission I flew until Daniel got what he was due. Less than 10 seconds elapsed from the time the engine exploded to the moment I pulled the ejection handle. Even though Daniel and I had met just 3 hours earlier, we became blood brothers that night because we shed our blood from the same breath.
I think he would recognize Lieutenant Colonel Talon as a brother. And I think he would say, well done.
Yes,
Well
no
done.
doubt about that.
This is to certify that the President of the United States of America has awarded the Purple Heart, established by General George Washington at Newburgh, New York, August 7, 1782, to Specialist 5th Class Daniel M. Richards, United States Army.
I don't think it changes how we remember him, but it's given us such a wonderful sense of closure. For so many years, we didn't know what happened, and each one of us thought we were the only ones that didn't know what happened. And so what we found out is that truly there were facts to be discovered.
I think he would be very proud to have been here today and to see the ceremony and to see the people, the sincere thanks that people were to know what Daniel did and the sacrifice that he made for his country. I think his sacrifice makes us realize as a nation that freedom really is not free. There's a price.